Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. Of course, we're approaching the holiday weekend, and we have a lot of travel going on across the country, and it looks like we are going to be dealing with a storm system moving through the center of the country as we go through this weekend, and it looks like to be a very wet Christmas across Nebraska. Unfortunately, if you're looking for a white Christmas in the southern half of the state, you're going to have to wait a little bit, maybe a good week before we have a chance for an additional snow event. If you're in northern Nebraska, there is an outside chance that you will see some accumulating snowfall as the system pulls up into the Great Lakes region and on the backside of the cold air spills into the region. Of course, this would mirror a similar pattern that we seen last weekend as that system ejected out of the central and southern Rockies, moved up into the northern Midwest. We've seen the heaviest snowfall in the Dakotas, just barely touching northern Nebraska where we had accumulations approaching the 6-7 inch range along the Nebraska-South Dakota border, and lesser totals down to around an inch as you got into the I-80 corridor. I don't think we'll see that snowfall get as close to the I-80 corridor this time. It looks like it's going to remain in the northern third of the state, but overall we are going to see some precipitation, and on that frozen ground it could create a little bit of an isolated flooding situation if we do get some thunderstorm activity. So let's take a look at the upper air pattern and see how this evolves. And here's our big upper air low. We have a jet around it, that is a jet core that's approaching the 100 to 110 mile per hour range. It's going to quickly move this system up into the upper Midwest, draw a lot of Gulf moisture in the region, spin that moisture up around it, so we're going to see a lot of snowfall in the Dakotas and basically in northern Nebraska, and then this will move off quickly into the Great Lakes region, into the eastern United States, and then we turn our attention to a rather quick moving wave that will move across the northern plains as we go through the middle of the week. Doesn't look like it's going to have any precip with it, just maybe pulling in a little bit of cool air into our region briefly before it moves back over toward the east. And we see this high pressure ridge starting to build back in on Thursday and really starts to set the stage for a nice weekend as we go into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day before we turn our attention to yet another storm system that looks like it's going to arrive somewhere around January 3rd or 4th into the region and give us an increasing chance for snow or rain depending on the temperatures. Now, as we look at the evolution of this precipitation with this system, we can see a pretty widespread precipitation area in the central Rockies. That moves out into the central plains with heavy moisture in eastern Nebraska, snowfall on the backside, and this quickly exits toward the Great Lakes region, and then we see some pretty benign conditions outside of a little bit of energy moving to the northwest during that system coming in that will move across the northern plains, and outside of that then we look toward the southwest as a little bit of a southern wave tends to move into southern Texas, and we'll watch this system because this is the one that we may lift toward the north as we get into the post-New Year's Day period. So there is a chance for accumulating snowfall. In terms of temperatures, a very nice forecast basically, and this incorporates that high pressure moving in, so warmer than normal conditions from next Thursday through the following Tuesday. Here's that cold air associated with that system coming in, and in terms of precipitation, as that system comes in and starts to get itself wound up, we see the heaviest of the precipitation depicted for the eastern United States and the upper Great Lakes. Some of this may actually impact eastern Nebraska.